Welcome to Cold Case Cipher. We cover a real federal sentencing that highlights how the DOJ tracks predators in the digital age. This story is verified, court-documented, and built from official records. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
On July 29, 2025, the Department of Justice announced that George Travis Woodfield, a 41-year-old resident of Macungie, Pennsylvania, had been sentenced to 360 months in federal prison, the equivalent of 30 years. But this wasn't just another conviction. It was the culmination of years of surveillance, forensic evidence, and a haunting trail of abuse that shocked the agents tasked with tracking it. In November of 2018, Woodfield took an 11-year-old child on an overnight trip to New York City. It was supposed to be an ordinary trip, maybe even a mentorship or outing, at least on the surface. But as federal investigators would later discover, the trip was premeditated, planned, and orchestrated for a single horrifying purpose: to sexually abuse the child. Court filings state that the abuse occurred inside a New York hotel room that Woodfield had booked in advance. He crossed state lines, knowingly and intentionally, with a minor, and did so with the intent to exploit. That charge alone, transporting a minor across state lines for criminal sexual activity, is a felony under Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 2423A. It carries a mandatory minimum sentence and has been used in some of the nation's most high-profile child exploitation convictions. But this case ran deeper. Between 2015 and 2024, forensic investigators traced Woodfield's digital footprint to numerous depictions of child sexual abuse materials, commonly referred to in legal filings as CSAM. These were not generic downloads. According to the DOJ, Woodfield accessed with intent to view images of prepubescent children, often involving extreme abuse. That charge was filed under 18 U.S.C. Section 2252A5B, and while it doesn't require the material to be downloaded or stored, the act of accessing it with intent is sufficient for federal prosecution. The scope of the investigation was national. The FBI's Allentown Resident Agency, a field unit under the Philadelphia Division, collaborated with agents from Richmond, forensic analysts from CEOS, and the High-Tech Investigations Unit, a specialized DOJ cybercrime task force. What started with a few digital pings and pattern recognition turned into a full-scale federal indictment. By December 2023, a grand jury indicted Woodfield. By March 2024, he entered a guilty plea, a strategic move likely designed to reduce sentencing time, but one that would still result in the maximum applicable penalty. In total, the court handed down 360 months in prison, lifetime supervised release, and $12,000 in restitution to the victim. The sentence was issued by United States District Judge Joseph F. Leeson, Jr., sitting in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. At the sentencing, U.S. Attorney David Metcalf did not mince words. Woodfield didn't just view images, he sought out sex with a child. And FBI Special Agent Wayne Jacobs added, "Let today's sentencing send a message. If you prey upon our most vulnerable, you will be found and brought to justice." For context, this case falls under Project Safe Childhood, a DOJ initiative launched in 2006 to combat online and offline child exploitation. PSC combines the resources of U.S. Attorney's Offices, FBI Cybercrime, Task Force's Homeland Security Investigations, and the Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section, CEOS, of the DOJ. The CEOS division is known for handling the most severe cases of online abuse, and they often operate through digital warrants, encrypted server subpoenas, and cross-platform data retrieval. In Woodfield's case, CEO's prosecutors Jennifer Torito Leonardo and Jessica L. Urban joined Assistant U.S. Attorney Rebecca J. Kulik in building a case that was airtight. But how did they catch him? Sources say that Woodfield's online behavior was detected through pattern-based network tracking, something often referred to as a digital fingerprint scan. When his activity aligned with known CSAM markers, a federal cybercrime task force initiated surveillance. Evidence was retrieved from cloud-based accounts, encrypted chat services, and metadata found within travel and booking platforms. While these tools are not public, court documents often note electronic evidence acquired through lawful digital warrant as the turning point. And here's the most harrowing part. This was not a one-off. According to the FBI's 2024 report on exploitation trends, repeat offenders often escalate from digital viewing to physical contact, and that's exactly what happened here. The sentencing was not only a win for law enforcement, it was a warning. Because under current federal sentencing guidelines, those convicted of both transportation and access charges are often subject to life-term monitoring. Woodfield will likely serve his time in a high-security federal prison, and upon release will be placed under a lifetime registry and digital restrictions.
This story's difficult, but it's necessary. Reporting cases like this allows the public to understand what justice can look like even years after the crime. Subscribe to Cold Case Cipher for verified stories straight from the court records. No fiction, no drama, just truth.